Okay, and welcome back to episode 3, part 2. And suddenly I have my 1950s BBC voice. It's for the
Yes.
radio. Listen, children.
Yes.
Okay, isn't it?
The show you
Yes.
are about to hear.
The show you are about to hear contains disturbing language. It's not a horror scenario, that's just the players.
I'm suddenly put in mind of the opening to War of the Worlds, the radio version of War of
Oh,
the
yes.
Worlds.
Oh.
Love that so much.
Show
Really
will
must.
be repeated to a time warp on the home service in 1953.
Hitchhikers had the best
I can't
continuity
remember what the year
announcements.
originally was, but that was a Hitchhiker's announcement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was. Right.
Okay, so
So,
I'm going to ask for a simple decision from between Lenore and Glaucon, which is: are you going to strike towards the biggest looking hole or the closest looking hole? Or some other criteria I didn't think of.
Most interesting looking. The one that smells the best. Do I smell anything interesting? Are there
No.
exotic?
Well, all
Oh,
sorts of interesting things, but nothing
Right.
of use.
okay. Well, I'm a squirrel. I might smell, nuts or something. Yes, I know how that sounded. Yes.
Not going to
Sorry.
say a thing. It's-
No.
you're looking
no.
for the hole that smells best because you might smell nuts.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I didn't think that through. Sorry.
No, I did.
I had not realised this was going to be one of those games.
Okay. Yeah, berries, nuts and berries. No, that's not
That's
better.
not actually getting any better, no.
Yeah.
I would suggest we go for
Okay.
the largest hole because that's going to have the easiest access. This is not helping, and and if we need to make a quick pull out, that's equally not helping. If we need to pull out quickly, the bigger the hole, the easier our exit. Look, I knew it was going to be bad. I just had to get it out.
You just took
Striking out
the run
across
at
the
that.
surface of this bit.
Yeah. Sorry. I think I've just killed Malia.
Deep breaths.
Okay.
So, heading out across the surface, you head towards what looks at first to be damage. However, as you get closer to it, it becomes apparent that, as with the whatever this is itself, this is remarkably regular. It's a large square hole. However, the edges are overgrown and there are some bits of what look like extraneous wreckage rather than part of whatever the structure itself is, that sort of overlie the edges of the hole and break up its regular shape.
Right.
But as you get close to it, you can see that it is in fact a large square opening into darkness. You're not sure how secure the edges are because of the amount of overgrowth and rubbish here.
Okay.
You can see that if you skirt it and go round to the far side, it's a cleaner edge, and you're fairly sure that that would be okay.
Okay.
But on this side, there's quite a lot of overgrowth, and you don't know how well that will support your weight without testing it.
Is there anything that we can pick up and maybe toss into the hole to see how deep it might be?
Yeah, there is quite a lot of wreckage and detritus, bound in with the vines and moss and lichen and assorted growth around this thing. So you can certainly pull either a bit of branch from something or a rock that's been caught up in it, and you pull, or a bit of wreckage that you can pull free in order to.
A
to
bit of
lob it.
metal that doesn't look like it was supposed to be that shape. So not something expensive.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
because that'll make the best
that will make
noise.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if I can find one, I will Glaucon will grab it and say, make a wish, and throw it into the pit.
Lenore makes a wish.
And Glaucon definitely does not ask what that wish was.
Yeah, if I tell you, it won't come true.
It sort of spirals as it sails out into the pit.
Okay.
There's a few seconds of nothing, and then a loud clanging noise as of metal hitting metal, echoing up from the depths.
Okay.
Right. How many seconds did it fall for?
A few, not very many.
But okay, is gravity about the same as it would be on Earth? On our regular.
But one of the things I love about this, game is it does not establish what the world was before the verdancy. So I'm going to say that things like air pressure, gravity, level of sunlight, etc., are all exactly the same as on Earth, because that way it's still not clear whether this is Earth or not, which I love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So gravity here is normal.
So we're looking at probably several
dozen. Not that we would know any different, to be honest.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's normal for us.
The characters certainly wouldn't know any different, no.
Yeah. But we're probably looking at a few dozen meters then, probably. Oh, Nico, okay. Yes, okay.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. He was scrambling to get up on the chair, so.
Oh, bless. You get a little doggy lift.
Yes.
Okay, so.
Yes, it's deep enough you wouldn't want to fall down it, but not so deep as to be an inaccessible pit that you can never go.
Right. In that case, I would suggest either you flit in, but since you can only glide and there probably isn't space, the other thing is I'm going to suggest a coil of rope be thrown over.
Yeah, and we would need
a relatively tight spiral down, but
you don't know what the
gliding doesn't work coming back up again so much unless there is a convenient updraft.
No.
Exactly. And also I would like to see where I was going. I did do the elegant swan dive off the side of the ship, but it was well lit.
It's likely that Lenore in particular, possibly less so Glaucon, being experienced with this kind of operation, will have grabbed, because by the things we'll say that we'll have stashed the boarding pack or the exploration pack, which has the ropes, the pitons, the things you will need, a hammer, some tape, or something like that to
Torches?
go and do things that can be lit.
Yes.
The Dreamspar has firefly lanterns, so it is not unreasonable to assume that some of those lanterns, at least, are attached rather than built in to the decks, so that you can remove them from their fixings and bring a light source with you when leaving the ship.
Oh, if it doesn't exist, then I think we're going to have to get a Ratchet to do this. So taking the Firefly Lantern idea and adapting it into something smaller, the Firefly flashlight, that is basically a tube with a glass thing on the end and a
Yes.
shutter.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes.
Yes, we like that. That
Mhm.
builds. It does. Okay.
The other thing that would be a reasonable light source in a setting like this, of course, is all kinds of natural phosphorescence.
Yeah, like we've probably got like phosphor sticks as opposed to
Yeah.
matches.
Yes.
Right. Okay. In that case, what I would suggest is from the boarding pack, grab some rope, attach it to Lenore. Let's face it, she is the most solid thing on this ship at the moment. And then tie the other half or tie the other end around Glaucon in harness form.
Tie your squirrelkin down.
Now, remind me, being the flying squirrel, you've got the wings between you. So it would have to go underneath the wings. It would actually have to go underneath the wings and probably between the legs to form a bit of a seat, probably like bosun seat.
A bosun seat or a pyramidal harness.
Yeah. Because of course it can't go under the arms because that would slice your wings off.
Like the Mission Impossible drop.
Yes. Yes. Oh well, now I've thought of it. Absolutely, we have Tom Cruise as a flying squirrel.
I'm sure we've all seen the squirrel footage with Mission Impossible theme.
Oh God, yes.
Doing various.
And if you haven't, Monier, we will rectify that immediately after the stream.
I think I have seen it, but I could stand to see it again
because that was a.
It's one of those things. Isn't it?
God, was it Carling?
It was definitely an advert for one.
I know it was advertising something.
Somebody had filmed it and it was on one of the nature programs, and then it was used in an advert with the Mission Impossible music. Which is brilliant.
Well, have been a Carling, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Back in the days of the Betty Drinks.
Yes, I bet he drinks.
Advertising, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Carling Black Label. Which I never ever tasted in my life. Okay, so.
I just, in addition to the Firefly flashlight, I would also like a Firefly helmet, mining helmet, too.
Actually, that's a really good idea. Some form of wraparound glass tube.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yes.
That would be awesome.
So yes, flashlight tiara. A torch tiara,
Glaucon would be all over that.
Yes.
Yes.
That's just because then you could claim it was a halo and you could freak people out religiously.
Oh, that would be fun, but also tiara.
Well, yeah.
I mean.
Okay, yeah, blown glass tube would actually be fairly simple. Exactly. Yep. I can see that.
You have a slight issue, however, when it comes to blown glass.
We don't have much access to
in a setting with
heat.
very limited access to fire. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
It takes a heck of a lot of heat for that kind of stuff.
It does. Or pressure.
So.
Yeah, well.
That's a point,
what
actually.
About...
Is a pressure cooker a thing?
I'm thinking maybe less glass than
salvage placky would be the way
like
to
go. Like
resin, yes.
But poured resin. Like there is a sap or something like that that fulfills similar. That has similar properties.
Yes, resin molds.
Amber.
Yes, resin molds of amber sap. You pour the sap in, and you've got 2 semicircular molds, and then you glue them together once they're set.
I love it.
And then you only need minimal amounts of heat, just to make sure it stays runny while actually pouring. And we are putting way too much thought into this.
No such thing. Nope.
You wanted world building, mate. We are world building.
Yes, we are definitely building a world here.
It may look to you like
there's a world other Wildsea players would recognise, but it's definitely a world.
Look, it may sound like we're obsessing with illuminated tiaras, but we're actually building a world.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Exactly. Yes. And it would come
I've heard of
in.
a ring world. The tiara world is new to me.
Yes.
Well, it's very exclusive, you see.
Ah.
Yes. But as I am being lured into the pit of
lowered. I heard lured.
No, sorry. Okay, I didn't mean to say lowered, but could be both. Could be either. Okay. Lifting the lantern, trying to get a sense of the space that I'm going into.
Yeah.
Any sounds, any sights.
You're being lowered into a cavernous space. Your firefly lantern actually can't reach far enough for you to see the walls.
Oh.
Okay.
The space is much bigger than the hole that you're coming through. It does remind you of the cargo hatches on wild sailing vessels, where you've got a hatch at the top and then a much bigger space inside where the cargo is pushed out to either side as it's brought in and stacked. But you've never seen one this size. The hole at the top is not big enough, but if it were, you could get the Dream Spar into this space, you would guess.
Wow.
Okay,
is it
when you said cavernous,
yeah,
that was the yeah.
Yeah, is it
And
yeah. Sorry. Just wondering, is it cold, hot, kind of dank or dry, or any sounds that I can hear, or anything, just sort of darkness void?
Darkness and void for the most part. You can hear the usual sort of sounds that you would expect inside on the Wildsea, on a ship. You can hear the sort of the creaking that echoes through as things settle and shift slightly on the branches. It definitely, even despite its size, it gives the feel of being a ship rather than being something solid. So even though I've been referring to it as a spit, and it's certainly big enough that people could create a small settlement on it, or indeed with this space, it nevertheless has the feel of something a bit less solid than that to you.
Okay.
You're not sure how long this is going to stay here.
Right.
It feels like the sort of thing that could in fairly short order start to slip back beneath the tangle.
Okay.
You can see, if we take the end that was closest to you when it first rose up, when you first saw it, as being forward, then you can see, you think, light, a faint glimmer of light somewhere towards the aft. So away from where the Dream Spar was when you first encountered this thing.
Okay.
So further in the direction that you've been exploring.
Okay. And so, yeah. So, and there's no sound of suspicious slithering, coming from below, or growls, or any predator sort of sound.
There's no kobold-esque snickering in the darkness and the sound of hammers being cocked on guns, nothing like that.
I am a prey animal. I would like to know, or I'm descended from prey animals. These things cross my mind. So, okay.
Yeah, quite reasonable.
Okay.
So are you going to presumably call up to Lenore with your findings, or are you going to try and remain silent until you're sure that there's no danger down here?
I think I will remain silent and just, I believe that if you don't mind my retconning just a tiny bit, before I went down, I was like, I will tug twice if there's an emergency or a scream or both. Just
Fantastic.
Probably both. Yes, Nicolo. Okay. All right.
Okay, so as you reach the bottom of your descent, you find yourself. It's very different to up above. Up above, as I said, was mainly flat, apart from it had holes here and there, or depressions here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Down here is quite the opposite. This feels like what the outside, if it were a natural structure, should be like. It's up and down and undulating waves, and again, the undergrowth has, the plant life has grown all through this. So as you come down, you're being very carefully observing what's beneath you to make sure that you're not about to put your foot in a puddle of cresoin or something. And you find yourself perched atop something of a rise. It's maybe 4 or 5 meters, sort of oblongish, maybe 4 or 5 meters in length. And to one side of it, just to your left, it's almost as if it were a sofa or an armchair, because there is a flat surface rising up to the left that appears to come out of the back end of this not square oblong, but roughly oblong, strangely shaped hump that you have landed on. But it is all very overgrown, and it's, without trying to dig through the undergrowth, very difficult to tell what might be beneath this.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Nicolo. Okay, so since it seems to be fairly deserted, I will yell up to Lenore, describing what this strange buttonless Chesterfield of metal seems to be, and see if that if she knows anything, if that rings any bells for her.
Does it?
Not particularly, no.
No, this is new to me.
Glaucon's voice echoes throughout this cavernous space as he calls up to you, and it takes you a moment to identify what's actually been said, because by the time it gets through the hole to where you're standing on the top, you can hear him about 4 times, and you're having to filter out all of that extraneous noise.
Yeah.
It certainly, even from here, without being able without being in there, being able to see it properly, you can tell this is obviously a very large space in there, and a very echoey space. Different materials obviously echo to different amounts, and although it's very very overgrown down there, it echoes like a solid surface does. The plant life tends not to echo very much. Leaves and branches don't throw back a particularly strong echo. So behind those leaves and branches, it sounds like there is something solid, like perhaps the solid metal hull of this, whatever this is. It does echo more like a metal chamber rather than like a natural environment.
Okay.
And it is at about this point that back on the ship, the captain gets a visitation. You've just got Dougal not settled into a stateroom, but you've shown him to a room and said, well, you are welcome to use this while you're here. And he has no furniture, no luggage or anything with him to unpack. So he's basically just said, right, okay, that's where I sleep, thank you. And that's as far as that goes. But as you are heading back up to see what's going on with the rest of your crew, you hear Darwin's voice behind you. Captain, How long is this delay likely to be?
Unsure. This is a interesting occurrence that we will want to map and ascertain if there is anything valuable here. Do you have a deadline? Or sorry, actually no. He'd be a little bit more direct than that. What is your deadline?
I am not sure of the urgency of my delivery. I was commissioned to deliver it, but was not told what I was delivering, as is quite common with these tasks. But I do know that I was commissioned to deliver it in good time.
Yes.
So while I understand the importance of your discovery, I would request that you hurry your investigations as much as possible. Perhaps plan to return for a more detailed investigation later. I'm sure that the good merchant would agree with me in saying that we would like the journey to continue as soon as possible. We are both probably in a hurry to reach Fairnest.
Understood. I will see to it that we are underway as soon as we can be.
Yeah. But if this thing's going to sink...
And with that, he will retire to his weapon.
If this thing's going to sink, then
yes, this is the thing. You've got that conflict there, haven't you? You don't know how long it's going to be here, but you do have passengers who want you to move on. So what are you going to do?
I will move up. I will head up to the deck, and assuming that everyone is, just do a cursory check-in with the helm and such to ensure that everything is stable. Nothing appears to be. Nothing appears to be.
You've got undercrew holding in place. There's nothing, nothing urgent going on, so they can handle that. And from here, you can see, because she is not small.
Yeah.
You can see Lenore standing on the surface of the thing. You can't see any sign of Glaucon at the moment, but Lenore does seem to be paying attention to something beneath her.
Yeah.
Sure. So what I will do is I will assign. I will make sure that there is somebody up in what is passing for our crow's nest. Basically, the tallest point on our mast, and keeping a lookout for any other ships in the area, or even like any indication of other disturbances. Potentially we might be able to spot something of the leaf, whatever it was, the leaf dancer.
Leaf dancer,
The leaf dancer.
Yeah. And then I will head on over myself down the boarding ramp and move over to Lenore.
Okay.
How goes
so back on the thing?
Glaucon is down there. It's big and empty. Well, it's big anyway. Have you reported back that it doesn't feel terribly stable in there?
Me?
Yeah.
I will do so and say, oh, by the way, is that the captain? I hear up there. And continue chattering for a little bit. It's like, this is really fascinating, but it does feel a little bit unstable. But I the light is not penetrating as far as I was hoping. But I think I'm going to untie my harness and go exploring.
No, don't untie.
I love that. Yes.
Lenore.
Yes.
How easy do you reckon it is for you to go down there as well?
Can we get Ben over? Because he can anchor me very effectively.
Has Ben
was
gone
with
off?
you when you put the
Yeah.
Ben was with you when you put the boarding ramp in place,
Yeah.
and you thought that Ben was following you as you joined Glaucon on the far side, but you now realise that he's not in sight and you don't know where he is.
Oh, good.
No idea that
Good.
Ben is
Excellent.
after all animate rock.
Okay.
A selection of inanimate rocks, yeah.
Darren, our passengers are clamouring for a departure, or at least not tarrying over long here. Go and get Glaucon, or go and see what Glaucon is up to. Determine how stable this is, and give me a report in an hour.
Is there something...
If at all possible, we want to be underway and come back. If that does not seem possible, I wish to know within the hour.
Right.
So that I can make a decision as to how long we are going to stay here.
Yes, I don't think that this place will be here when we return, if we return. I think there's a good chance it will have sunk again. With luck, it won't sink while we're on it, but that's not determined. Is there something solid I can tie off to on the deck? Be that a railing, I don't know.
You can find something solid enough to tie off. Yeah.
Right, in that case, I will climb down the rope.
Some of the growth here is actually okay. Yeah.
Okay, that was maybe not my smartest idea
some of the
ever.
growth here is actually solid enough that you can affix the rope to what is effectively a bough rather than just like creepers, and climb down that way. Now, I think normally I would not ask for a roll for this.
Okay.
Not in a game like this where the number of rolls are not supposed to be that high.
Yep.
But you are pretty damn solid.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to require a roll to see how well you get down. It's not going to be disastrous. You're not going to fall to your doom, even on a bad roll. But
this might be a few splinters.
I do want to see how this actually works out.
Iron?
So that's going to be iron is reasonable. I would allow either grace or iron for this.
I've got both.
Because you either just iron is just your brute force holding your weight up. Grace is more making sure that you're.
What does delve actually cover?
Making sure you're properly supported with the rope and things like that.
It's delve information.
Would be an entirely suitable skill for this.
Right.
Delve is used for things like exploring ruins, bypassing rocks and traps.
I have delve.
This is an exploring ruins type of thing.
Right, I have delve.
I would certainly allow delve. Delve or vault are the two, or indeed even wave walk. I would allow for this. In fact,
I'm better at delve
with either grace or iron.
Same.
Right, so I get 1 die for free. Is that right?
You get 1 die. You get 1 die for the edge.
Right.
So 1 die for your grace or iron.
Yes.
So you're using iron, and then however many dice for your skill.
Right. So I don't get any default dice.
No,
you don't get. There isn't a default. You are rolling a die no matter what.
Okay, right.
If you don't have anything to roll, then it gets awkward.
Okay, no, I've got 4 dice then.
Okay. Under those circumstances, there's a worse version of the roll that you can do.
Okay, we have got a 4, a 4, a 6, and a 2.
Hey, 6! Hooray!
Yay!
Yay! Thank you for not falling on me.
Okay,
well,
so
there is that, yeah. And there's a double in there. I don't know if that counts.
That is a triumph with a twist, then.
Yes. That so sounds like a cocktail.
Yes, any double is a twist. So you have indeed got a Triumph with a twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like a cocktail.
It does.
It does, doesn't it? Sound like a cocktail. Yeah. So, I think I know what this twist is going to be. I think I'm going to. I normally throw it out for suggestions, but I have an idea that I kind of like for this. So, as you are climbing down, you get down without any real trouble. However, because you are quite a solid mass,
right,
you start to swing as you're heading down. This is partly because there are still minor aftershocks going on from the root quake that brought this thing up. And every now and then just a tremor will go through and one just starts you swinging. And you're not in any danger, you don't lose control at all, but as you're coming down, you are swinging.
I'm a pendulum.
And you reach out with your feet as you're coming down to brace yourself against the vertical piece on this not Chesterfield sofa that Glaucon landed on. And as you do so, it does arrest your swing enough that you can land quite safely. But there is a cracking sound and it moves. It doesn't break off, but it moves to maybe a 30-degree angle with a very loud, with some cracking noises, but also then a very loud screeching noise.
No.
It sounds like metal on metal type of screech.
Oh, good.
That echoes up from where it joins the main bulk of what you're standing on.
Oh, good.
Well, that didn't sound good.
And looking down with a firefly lantern there to provide light, you can see more now because you've broken off some of the growth over it. You can see that this particular growth definitely is over a metallic object. It's not. You're fairly certain it's now that it is not just the shape of the floor, but that there was some metal object here hundreds of years ago when the verdancy happened, that has since been overgrown, and you've just shifted a part of it as you came down.
I am going to see if I can pull apart more of the growth.
Okay. And I will have come back upon hearing the hideous metallic screech, and on seeing Lenore do that, we'll join in.
Yes. There's something under here. I don't know how long we can stay.
While
We
you
have
were
to leave
having
fast.
Oh.
While you were having a look around, Molly,
Mm-hmm.
while you were having a look around while Lenore was doing her climb down, you had come to the conclusion yourself that the reason the floor here is so bumpy and undulating is that it does seem like it should be a flat surface, but there are a lot of things were in here and that they have become overgrown since. In some places, you can see bits of metal. In others, you can see what you think may have been crates, where they're less overgrown than in other places. And you do pick up a tool of some kind, old and too rusted to be of any use, but clearly some kind of wrench that you find sticking out of the plant growth. And then it's about that point that Lenore hits the bottom with the loud screech, and you go to see what she's done.
Okay, excellent. So the corrugation is not regular, like with a heat sink or something like that. It's more like bumpy.
Basically, there's a whole load. It sounds like there's a whole load of debris and such that has crashed to the ground and has now become overgrown.
That makes more sense because my initial thing was mental image was sort of a sine wave of things, and I was really thinking, oh, it's a heat dissipation thing, but no.
No, it's definitely not that organised.
Okay.
Tumble a room and then grass over it, basically.
Yeah. That would
So,
give you pretty much this effect.
Like the floor of my flat. Okay.
Cool. I don't want to know why you've grassed over the floor of your flat.
Well, saves on having to take the dogs out.
Yeah.
There's grass over there.
Logical answer for everything.
I kid, of course. But okay. So let's see, you said that the venture spanner type thing is too old really to be of use, but just of interest.
Yeah,
or
it's informative rather than practical. Definitely, whatever this is, clearly this is a tool. So at some point, somebody who used tools was in this place, probably pre-verdancy, doing something that requires tools.
Cool. Excellent. I will stash it and this.
Yeah.
Can I have an iron and hack roll, I think?
God. Maybe. You can definitely have an iron roll. Oh, I have hack.
Better you than me.
Yeah, I have
Better
hack.
you than me. I don't have either.
That seems to be the most reasonable thing for trying to smash away more of this plant to get what's underneath.
So I've got a twist. So I've got a double 1 and a 6.
Okay. Oh, so you got to triumph with the twist.
I got to triumph with the twist,
The fact that it's a 1 doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yes, I was looking at the dice thinking, hell.
So you tear away at some of this, and you sort of lean against the bit that moved before to try and tear it further free. And in the process of doing so, 2 things happen. One, you identify that where it attaches to whatever the main bulk of this is definitely some sort of hinge. You can see a hinge mechanism there. It is designed to move. And the second thing that happens is that as you are shoving it to break the bonds break to the point that it does actually move all the way down and lay flat. So what you've now got is, as far as you can see, it's still got quite a lot of crap going around it, but it looks like now a flat, somewhat tapered surface, about 3 meters in total, sticking out now from the side of just the main bulk of whatever this is.
Right.
Standing on.
Can I shift it?
In what way shift it?
Lift it? Lift the edge?
I want a slightly better explanation of exactly what you're trying to do.
I want a diagram of what I'm looking at.
When you say lift the edge.
I think I might know, but...
You're standing basically on an overgrown hummock.
Yes.
And there is a flat metal surface, slightly tapered and itself overgrown, now sticking out about 3 meters from the side of this hummock, which you can see from what's underneath where you've broken stuff through.
Gotcha.
Attached to it with a hinge and designed to go up and down like that.
Right.
Would I be correct? Would I be correct in guessing that this might be an aileron?
It could be something along those lines.
Yeah, that's now where I was having trouble visualizing it from your initial description. Sorry.
Yeah, it's when he said it was slightly tapered and such. It's like,
okay. For some reason I had the tapering going in a different direction, basically.
No, I originally did. I thought it was the bit on the a wing tip.
Yeah.
That would do that.
I'm going to see if I can follow the metal back into the hummock. and burrow a bit and see where it's rooted. And I mean, I'm fairly sure that it's attached to something big, but what she wants to do is see if she can find something to pry it loose. And if she she digs into the hummock, this might be a nice big chunk of metal that's well worth having and taking back up to the Dream Spa.
Okay. While
Vandal.
Old and somewhat decrepit, it is a fairly solid chunk of metal.
Yeah.
So it is something that if you could get the whole thing loose, you may well be able to get some decent salvage off it.
So I am.
But doing so would be a major endeavour.
I
am. It would probably require, chains and pulleys and all kinds of stuff like that.
I'd still like to try and burrow in and find out where it ends. Or leads to. I want to know what's in this hummock.
As I say, it pretty much ends roughly at the hinge section, but burrowing a bit further.
Yeah.
You can see that the hinge isn't directly attached to the side of a main body. As you sort of dig in, you can see that this tapered shape continues for maybe another meter into the hummock. So you've got about a meter of metal, then you've got a hinge and about another 3 meters of metal. But you can't get deep to see where it goes beyond that.
Can I break this at the hinge?
No.
Damn.
Not under these conditions.
No jumping up and down on it then.
No, there's too much,
debris
and plant growth to give it support. You can't get it to a nice. If you could get it somewhere nicely unsupported, you jump up and down, then maybe the hinge would snap in trying to go in the opposite direction.
Yes,
but it's too well supported for you to be able to do that.
Right. Okie dokie. Right. Huh. Well, there's nothing more I can do with this then. To be honest. So I think I'm going to have a look around, scan around with light, and see what else I can see in this area.
Okay, well, for starters, you can see that Glaucon has come back.
That's useful. If we need to escape in a hurry, that will be handy.
I was going to say, no need to be.
And you did get a twist on that last roll.
I did.
Mm-hmm.
So, rather than making you roll anything for this, I'm going to say, as you scout around, you find a curved piece of what you think must be glass.
Okay.
It is a dirty but transparent material.
That's useful then.
It's about just under a meter in length, and it has a curve to it. It's clearly not the whole piece. It's broken quite cleanly,
right,
but it's clearly not the whole piece. And it's. I'm going to classify this as a piece of salvage. I'm going to allow you to take this as a piece of salvage because it's higher quality glass.
Yeah.
Than when you get to clean it up back on the Dream Spa, you will discover that this is much higher quality glass, both in terms of its actual production. It's more see-through than you're used to glass being.
Okay.
Purer, and also in terms of its strength, much stronger than you expect glass to be. But in and of itself is useless. However, you could use it as a component when making something, so it qualifies as salvage because it's this piece of unusual high tensile glass.
Hooray for tempered cockpit glass.
Yeah. In that
Yes,
case,
indeed.
I'm going to make sure I'm untied from the rope, and I am going to rope the piece of glass up and tell them to pull it up carefully so that they can get that out and onto the ship.
Okay, as you call this up, Ben appears at the top and begins pulling the rope up. Wherever Ben had got to, Ben has come back.
That's mine.
And I'll work out. And I will work out what Ben found between sessions.
Did
for
not,
Alexis.
I will tell you, find my piece of tempered glass.
I call down. Lenore, report, please, sir.
I found some glass. There's more to explore here. I'm with Glaucon.
Well, you were with Glaucon. As soon as you started tying the glass up or to have it lifted out, he got bored and wandered off to see if he could find a wall.
Our crew has an ADD squirrel on it.
Yes.
Yep.
Lenore.
I warn you, I have zoomies today.
Does that mean that the old ADHD joke that I've always used ceases?
Doesn't have any meaning when it's done by a bloody squirrel.
I really should tell you that squirrel and become. So I really should tell you that me.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I was with Glaucon. Yes. Glaucon's looking for a wall.
Yeah, you can see his lantern, bobbing off in the distance.
Or Glaucon has been eaten and something has his lantern dangling out of his mouth.
Lenore, assessment on how long you would want to spend here.
I would want to spend the next few days here. Need for an assessment, maybe another hour.
Another small aftershock runs through as you're having this
able.
Conversation. The whole thing
maybe 15 minutes, anywhere between 15 minutes and an hour before this becomes dangerously unstable again.
Right.
Please send the rope down fairly quickly, just in case.
Plan. How much stability do you reckon we've got?
Can I make a delve check, Fish, to see how stable this feels?
I think delve with tides.
That works for me.
To be reasonable for this, yes.
Okay.
Can I make a roll as well for my own assessment?
Yeah, I would offer to make a roll or ask to make a roll, but no.
I think
actually,
what I will say is rather than make 2 rolls.
Yeah. Can I assist?
We use the assist rule, so that will give Drat an extra. Or we will give whichever of you is making the roll.
I'm making this one. I'm keeping this one.
Yes.
I'm not telling you what it is
just
yet.
because you ask Lenore doesn't necessarily mean that Drat has to roll the dice.
Yeah, add a die from my assistant.
Okay. The thing is, this is something that Lenore is really good at.
Yes.
This is what Lenore's for, is the exploration.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like I've got 3 dice as well, but
right. Okay. So does a double twist happen?
No. If you have a twist, you have a twist. They don't stack if you get more than one.
Because I got
or if you get 3 of a
2
kind.
2s, 4 4, 2 2s, 2 4s, and a 6.
Okay.
So
I would love to give you 2 twists.
Yeah. Let's twist again. Oh, we're gonna die.
Okay, so your assessment of this is that there is a good chance that this will become stable sometime in the next few hours, but that it is not right now. It's probably going to sink further into the tangle.
It's bobbed up and it's going to stabilize further down.
But will still be accessible probably. But over the next few hours, it's going to keep shifting until it finds a more stable position. After that, it could be there for days, it could be there for weeks, it could be there for years. It's hard to tell until you can assess what that new position is.
All right. Executive decision. Grab what you can. We're going to leave now. Speed to I keep forgetting the name of our destination.
Fairnest.
Fairnest. Yes.
Yeah.
Fairness.
Speed to Fairnest and return.
Okay, is there anything I can grab under one arm that looks interesting?
Aside from
and
Glaucon.
Portable.
Glaucon?
That's why I only have one arm. The other arm is going to be to grab Glaucon. Right. I think these things through.
Okay, well, since you got a twist again.
Okay, sorry.
I am going to say that yes, there is something that you can grab. It's not actually overgrown. It is, however, dirty and slightly decayed. It's obviously been here for hundreds of years.
Okay.
But you can find about just under 1 meter, almost the same size as a piece of glass, metal tube.
Ooh.
Sealed at both ends.
Oh, good. That's almost certainly a bomb.
It looks interesting, so you grab it.
Mm-hmm.
Hide the bomb. Hide the bomb. Okay.
I mean, it's not really a missile. At 1 meter, not really a missile.
It's not a big bomb.
It's more like to be a shell. Let's face it.
Maybe. I mean, depends on how wide it is.
Okay, yeah, I will grab it, carry it under my arm like it was a rugby ball. And Glaucon, we're leaving.
May I make a request to have found a funny cap that is completely useless as salvage, but just has ear flaps and where human ears would be, and perhaps going over very flat with little dangly clips that you can fasten under your chin.
Oh, maybe a pilot's cap.
Yes.
Those old-style aviation caps.
Yes. May I? One that's completely useless?
You know what? I'm going to say I'm going to say that you can have absolutely found such a thing.
Thank you.
That's me looking for salvage. You're looking for a cap.
It's what I found.
Yeah.
So a combination of clambering over stuff and moving in between the larger disruptions here, you were able to make it to a wall, which is what what I recall you said you were doing.
Yes.
Looking for the extremities of this area. Mm-hmm. So it gives you a better idea of how big it is, and it is really just as big as you expected it to be. And when you find that wall, you find an area that is relatively clear of overgrowth. And the cap that you find...
Fish.
Oh, your audio's gone.
Yeah. Oh. I heard that. Well, I didn't hear. I lip read.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Oh. I'm sorry. It's my fault for adjusting the cap.
Just as we were about to find out what kind of cap it was. The details of this cap.
I'm sorry. Well, I didn't roll anything for... where I could have gotten anything fun, but...
Yes!
There we go.
Yes!
Yay!
Okay, you cut out
just
on
restarted the audio engine and brought me back.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry for the throat slashing. I couldn't think of another sign.
You find the cap hanging on a hook on the wall next to what is clearly a fairly large, about 2 meters by 1.5 meters, metal hatch. It looks firmly secured in place, despite its age. There are bars which appear to actually go into the walls, or the little walls either side. And there is a wheel which is clearly used to undo the bars. Mm-hmm. But the wheel is completely rusted shut and doesn't move. But nevertheless, next to it on a hook is this cap that you were looking for, that you spot and go, oh, I'll have that.
Yes. And then I imagine that as Lenore, I assume Lenore is coming after me to sort of grab and run. I of course do start poking at the wheel, even though it's rusted, but just because it's
you
there.
can also identify where you saw a glint of light in this direction from, and that is above the hatch. There is a grating of some kind, and you can see, although it's slightly overgrown and crusted with dirt, you can see light coming through the grating. So clearly there is either a light source or it's open to the sky on the far side of this hatch.
Okay. Can I, if I can't, assuming that I can't move the wheel, can I climb on it and balance on the wheel and look through the grate as we're waiting for Lenore?
I will allow that. I think you are superbly well equipped to do such a thing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be slightly mean and ask for a grace and either delve or vault roll.
Okay.
So one die from, I'm assuming you have grace.
Yes, and I have 2 in delve, so that is 3 dice.
Okay, 3 dice in total.
I got a 4 and 2 1s.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to retroactively apply that twist to explain why you found the cap.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Thank you.
And
look at my cap.
a 4 is going to be successful, but it's a conflict, so it's success with a drawback.
Okay.
And let me just have a quick check on something. If my computer actually hurries up and shows me what I'm trying to look at.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So you clamber up on this wheel, and you peer through the gaps in this grating, and on the other.
It's my fault. Every time I ask something fishy,
it's impressive. I think Lazarus is scared of you.
I'm very nice.
You are, yes.
I try. Oh. But, oh no.
It's okay. You just restart the engine. I'm just trying to decide if it's... Oh, no, it's no particular guide as to whether his ear is red or green. That's fine.
Okay.
No.
Nope.
Yet.
No. Nein. Das ist
Yay.
nicht gut.
No. Oh, someone's going to speakers.
Oh dear.
I reckon that the headset may be flat.
Yeah.
Ah, could be.
No.
No. No. Oh dear.
Nope.
No.
That implies there that the whole audio engine's gone.
Yeah.
Whoops. So, going to be editing this chunk out for YouTube.
Yep.
Oh, hello.
Ah.
Oh my.
Oh, wow. That is a dodgy connection, Fish.
Yeah. Someone opened the hatch on an actual airplane in flight.
Yes, you are. But
Yes.
we will tell you the connection is not great, and it did sound a little bit like either the door to hell or a top hatch on a train was opened. But can you answer Molly?
Laz has had a fit.
Yeah.
Laz has had a fit and completely lost my microphone.
Oh, okay, that will do it.
Hence my mucking about and plugging in the
Yeah, we figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, we figured. No, it's okay now. It's slightly buzzy, but it's not too bad.
Where had I got to before you lost me?
I was looking through the grate. and I had
Right.
a drawback thing
Yes.
coming.
You said there's, but I think I'm going to be mean and
Yes.
silence.
Yeah. Okay. You've got a drawback. So, two little bits of mean, one smaller bit of mean, one bigger bit of mean. The smaller bit of mean is that the twist is going to on finding the cap. I don't know whether you heard me say that, but
Yes.
I'm retroactively applying that twist. The
Okay.
bigger bit of mean is I'm going to hit you with some Maya,
Ooh.
which I will explain in just what you. I wanted to double check what your Mayas were, and one of them is elegance evaporates, leaving you clumsy. So I'm going to hit you with a point of that, so that will need to be marked.
Okay.
On your Mayas only have a 2-point track, but the first one of those is being marked for this.
Okay.
And what happens is you clamber up onto the wheel and you peer through the grating, and you can see on the far side more of the same, but not in such a vast space. It's a far more enclosed space, but it's still overgrown. You can see still that it has a metal structure with plants having grown over it. And going back further, about another 6 or 7 meters past the grating, you reach open sky, and you can see the thrash through that open sky. Clearly, as big as this is, it's not the whole of whatever it once was. And at the back, if you had gone that far on the surface, for example, you would have found that it's just been torn loose, and the whole of the back end is open to the thrash and to the sky.
Cool.
And then, as you are seeing that and going, wow, your foot slips.
Oh no.
And in tumbling down off the wheel, you twist one of your ankles, which manifests in game terms as that point of Maya.
Oh, okay. Well, happily, Lenore can probably literally carry me, but I will. But that's actually very cool. And Lenore, have you reached me yet?
Lenore is following the light, so if I've been following the light, then yes.
I think you'll get there in time to help Glaucon to his feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I will do is I will pick Glaucon up by the scruff of the neck.
And at your height, you can actually just reach up slightly and reach through.
Can I see the same thing then? Cool. Okay.
You can indeed see the same thing.
Right.
Because it is slightly higher than you probably, but not so much that you can't stretch up and
because this is so far down. This is basically a dungeon bash waiting to happen. Because it's tunneling underneath the thrash. Okay. I am picking Glaucon up by the scruff of the neck while he's sitting there rubbing his ankle going, ow, eek. And I will plonk him on my shoulder.
I'm up so high.
Like a toddler.
Oh, I can see so far into darkness.
Yeah, and holding my definitely not going to explode at any stage cylinder under the other arm.
Definitely not a bomb. Yeah.
Definitely not a bomb.
TM.
I will head back to the rope. And
I will keep you entertained as you convey me.
Good. Great. Fantastic. And
it's really, really cool.
Yeah. And I will tie us both on to the rope and yell for Ben to pull us up. I will probably also start climbing while being pulled up. Because Glaucon, I don't think weighs much.
You're going to need to, because
Ben can't pull.
But you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not going to be a thing. So I think an iron and vault, probably. I don't know. Yeah, climb comes under vault, so I'm going to say an iron and vault.
Remind me to take vault at some point. So iron, then.
I have 1 dot in it.
Yeah, I have 1 in vault. Can I assist?
You could actually, if you're willing to go
Um,
up hand over hand and
so,
not use your
yeah.
foot, you could probably just climb the rope
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Molly, make me a roll using either Grace or Iron and Vault.
Okay, so that would be 2.
I know you have Grace. So...
Yes, and I have
And
Grace
this is
and
just
I
to
have
haul
Vault.
yourself up, so that. Right, lovely.
Okay, I got a 3 and a 5. So conflict and it is
conflict.
Yeah, it's conflict.
That is a conflict. So yeah, you'll get to the top, but with some kind of complication.
Okay.
And I'm going to be a bit mean about that complication because while
oh no.
while Lenore is no longer carrying you, nevertheless, the additional swaying of the rope and possibly getting hit in the face with a foot as Glaucon went up,
And a little tail.
I'm going to still require Lenore to make a roll. You still don't have Vault.
No, I am purely on Iron.
I'm also imposing a cut.
Well, that brings me down to no dice.
How this is going to come down in the end.
Oh no.
That brings you down to no dice. So how this is going to work in the end is you are going to be rolling 2 dice and using the lower one.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm so sorry.
Yes.
We're getting my complications.
Fuck me.
Well, sounds good.
You got a double 6, didn't you?
Did you just roll 2 6s?
I'm using the double dice. I'm using my my ever so cool double dice because that just made sense to me. And I just rolled that, and they both came up 6, inside and out.
Awesome.
Okay, so despite everything, then you just go hand over hand up the rope and
I've got lipstick on my dice. Okay.
Oh
as you are hauling yourself over the edge, another aftershock runs through, and this time the whole thing actually lists.
Okay, yes, we're leaving
towards the dream spa.
Right.
It doesn't damage or endanger the dream spa.
It's going to unhook the side.
Yeah.
That's going to dip
boarding
away, and that's going
ramp will indeed unhook.
Oh.
Or it will probably unhook.
Yeah.
I am going to ask for a Grace and Vault roll. I'm going to ask for one of you to make a roll on Grace and Vault. You can pick whichever of you has the best chance.
That would be you. Almost certainly, because I only have Grace.
I have Grace and Vault, but I only have 1 in Vault.
That's still one more than me.
That's still 2 dice.
Yes, that's 2 dice.
Okay.
That's the best okay, so
I'm going to be back on the Dream Spa at this point because having found Ben and sent them, I have headed back and waiting for Sarah.
You're okay.
Found Ben making out, like he was a rock garden.
Found Ben making out?
Making out he was a rock garden. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. My apologies. I looked away when I was saying that.
Because I can then help rectify things from the Dream Spa side by writing.
Okay,
I think we should try growing Arctic strawberries on Ben. See what happens.
Okay. 2 dice. 3 and a 5.
That's not bad.
So 5. Yeah, could have been worse.
Okay, so
would have been if I'd rolled it.
Yeah, that is that is not a disaster.
Yay!
It's a good start to any conversation, isn't it?
Yes.
The ideal result that you were looking for would have been either a triumph or a twist. Any double, I would have said I would have allowed to get you out of this, and any triumph would have allowed you to get out of this. As it is, however, the thing shifts. you pretty much maintain your footing, both of you, though stagger a little bit towards the direction that you were already going to be going, towards the boat, towards the Dream Spa. And as the thing dips down and the boarding ramp begins to fall, it catches and pulls the Dream Spa slightly closer. The boarding ramp itself begins to roll up.
Okay.
But the Dream Spa is now tilting sideways.
Right.
And bumps up against the metal.
Right.
So, when you get there, you are able to just leap, particularly those of you that have gliding anyway. You just hop with your good foot and glide.
I'm willing to throw you
and
if
hurl
you want.
yourselves back onto the Dream Spa.
I could speedball
our
special.
version of our version of the fastball special.
Fastball special, yeah, that was it. Not speedball. That's subtly different.
But then in the aftermath of this, I am going to ask for a tilt roll from, logically, it will have to be from Chrono on board the ship to stabilize the Dream Spa before something bad happens.
Sure.
Right.
So how many dice am I rolling?
So tilt will be 2 dice.
2 dice, okay. Yeah, as I see that, I rush to the helm to help stabilize the vessel.
Yeah.
And that is a 5.
Okay, so that's going to be a conflict. You stabilize the ship, okay, but I'm going to mark another point on the riot chart, track.
And I
because the passengers are not happy with the ship being mauled around this way.
As happens, I call down to all hands. Make ready for departure.
All right, Duff.
And then I head down to see Darren to reassure him.
It's fine. We're not going to sink.
But what I'm going to tell Darren is we've made our assessment. We are leaving now. The structure is too unstable to explore.
Okay. Make me a roll on. It's going to be your choice of instinct or sharps. Either one of them will do. And sense.
Sharps and sense. Okay. That's a 6. One try.
Okay. Right. Well, thank you for letting me know, Captain. Glad that everything's under control and that we're on our way. And sort of lets you go on your way. But as you are heading back to the bridge, as the ship begins to get underway, something that was just nagging at you during your brief conversation with Darren there suddenly comes into place, and you realize the tubular bag that he had with him when he came on board, that you assume is what he's carrying, whatever he's delivering in. It was on the table behind him as he was talking to you, and one of the fastenings on it was undone.
Ooh.
And the reason that this sits oddly with you is because in your earlier conversation he had said that he wasn't aware of what he was carrying.
Yeah. Okay. I had thought it was almost like locked attaché case. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm trying to think.
I mean, they don't have attaché cases in
Yeah.
the world of Wildsea,
Yeah.
No.
But
but this case that he was carrying, which presumably is what he is delivering. Yeah, when you spoke to him just now, one of the fastenings on it was undone, as if either he was in the process of opening it or had just resealed it.
Yeah.
And hadn't quite got it completed when you arrived to tell him.
When I'd seen it previously, it was just fastenings. It wasn't like there was a padlock or something on the clasps.
No, it doesn't appear to have anything like a padlock, but it is very firmly fastened.
Sure.
Or was very firmly fastened on previous sightings.
Yeah, but then obviously I'm also aware that that he was almost certainly not telling me the whole truth from the start anyway. So
Yeah.
Okay then.
I don't know because I won't have seen that, Molly.
okay.
At least not until you are properly back on board.
That's true.
Okay. Yeah. I couldn't remember if
the carrying case, to tell you out of character, the carrying case is bigger than the Not Bomb. Not much bigger, but it is bigger.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, and once we are cast off, I bring Glaucon and Lenore to the helm. We are going to make we are going to make speed to Fairnester.
Okay.
We will not tarry there, and we will return so as to hopefully claim appropriate salvage rights on this. However, if any of the passengers do talk to you, just say it was unstable, unfit for exploration. Indicate that you believe that it was about to sink again.
Yeah. Well, Glaucon's injured, if nothing else.
Yes.
So that's an excellent indication that it's not safe.
Yeah, I hold up my hind leg.
Our squirrel's suffering from a sprained ankle.
Yep. But I did get this cool hat in recompense, so it's worth the price.
Varakai just nods, and very well. About your duties, then we will see how quickly we can get to Fairnester.
Right.
I want our passengers gone.
Okay. I'm going to double check the charts and see how far out of our way coming over here has taken us. It shouldn't be much.
No, not particularly. You had plotted this sort of dogleg route, and you haven't veered from that route. This is something you encountered. Close enough to the route that really you've not lost any time at all, certainly, on this. Not far out. You need 2 more progress points to get you to Fairnest.
Okay.
So that's either 2 more watches, or you can take the captain's words to heart.
Yeah.
And choose to forge ahead.
I'm thinking forging ahead.
If you forge ahead, that will mark 2 progress instead of 1 progress. However, when the roll is made to see if you encounter something, you will have no advance warning of that. You won't have it. Normally, you have a choice whether you want to encounter it because you can see it coming if you've got someone on watch. That's not the case if you're forging ahead, because the first you know of it, you're already there.
In that case, Lenore is going to take watch, so we have the most possible warning, and then suggest that we forge ahead if we want to get there as soon as.
one other thing I meant to say at the beginning, at the top of the stream, and I forgot to, which is to remind you all to keep track of your character's drives. You can gain bonuses for advancing or satisfying a drive.
Yeah.
The important thing here is it's advancing, not just satisfying. So if you've done something that you think moves you towards satisfying that drive, that counts as having advanced it, which you can get a whisper for, or you can clear a mark of mire, or you can gain a minor milestone. Milestones are.
I'm inclined to say that discover a great secret of the distant waves. This might actually qualify because this is exploring something very unusual, and we're the first ones to see it.
Yeah, and similarly, I might suggest that the actions that we're taking, or the I have ordered, are to allow us to collect treasures of the wider waves as a step towards that.
And I would make the case that even though I didn't solve any baffling problems with style, I damn well tried. In exploring the ship, like the problem is, what is this?
This is what reminded me that I hadn't mentioned drive. The fact that I thought all three of you actually had drives that were relevant to what you've just been through.
Yeah.
So I shall indeed be awarding, as a result of this, each of you a minor milestone.
Cool. I mean, technically, it trips over two of mine.
I wanted you to come up with whether you thought that applied to your drive. You can only get a milestone once per session that way.
I know.
What's the other drive that you think it?
Discover the fate of my fleets. Basically, I've done an elimination. This was wreckage. This was old wreckage, but it's nothing to do with my fleet.
Okay, so this does seem like you're kind of getting a huge collection of them, which I'm not so happy about. But in that case, you can only gain a milestone once per session, but you can gain a whisper for the other drive.
Ah, thank you. Sorry.
And I will let you.
It's not my fault. They both fit.
Is. Yeah, I hadn't noticed that. I knew definitely that you would have one that did, but I hadn't tweaked that you had to choose. So yeah, that's the way that drives are going to work. Is I'm going to want you to tell me when you've advanced a drive or satisfied a drive. But I'm quite happy to if I remember, to remind you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And whispers are basically we come up with, don't we? It's not that we have a selection box.
Yeah, you name it. They're just.
Cool. Okay, someone else's tragedy.
That works. That fits with where you got it. So that leaves us with enough time to make the rolls for your next watch of journey time.
Okay.
And then we can deal with what actually, if you come up with, if you encounter something, we can deal with that in the next session.
Okay.
Okay.
So, journeys. So, whoever is at the helm, which sounds like it's probably Lenore again now.
No, Lenore's on watch, not helm.
Lenore's on watch. Okay, so
helm was
whoever's at the helm. You've made a joint decision anyway. Whoever's on the helm gets to decide whether you're forging ahead or making progress or cutting a path. And you've already made a joint decision that you're going to be forging ahead. So less important who's actually on the helm. What is important is who's on watch. So when the watch roll is made, you will blunder into the encounter that is rolled, if one is rolled, without having any advance warning. You don't get a choice to evade it.
Okay.
So, on watch.
Yep.
You will be making a random roll for the watch.
Okay.
And I will be making a threat roll to see how dangerous.
I seem to recall I was getting a bonus for the hull site.
Yes, I think I did give you advantage on the watch roll for the whole site. Let me find. I'm looking at the wrong thing at the moment. I'm looking at the sort of quick reference sheet rather than the actual rules. So I need the actual rules for progress on watch. There we go. So a watch roll. Ah, that's right. Yeah, no, you don't have advantage because the watch roll is a single d6.
Oh, okay.
It's just a single d6 roll. I was giving you advantage with regards any roll needed from making your decision. So if you decided to evade it and it needed a roll to do so, you'd have advantage on that because you see it more clearly. But the watch roll is just a single straight d6.
Okay. That is a 6.
A 6 again. So, peaceful watch.
Sorry.
Entire watch passes without sighting anything out of the ordinary. However, I still get a threat roll. So if I roll low on this die, even though you don't encounter something could happen on board the ship.
Yeah.
We're there for
However, with a roll of 5, that's not very threatening at all.
I can cope with that.
So, I will mark off those other 2 progress points.
Cool.
And at the start of the next session, you will be arriving in Fairness.
Excellent stuff. That was worth
work,
doing.
Crew.
Yes. Awesome.
Cool. Sorry for giving you quiet.
Apologies to both players and audience for the fact that this session's been a bit up and down. Technical issues and me not being on my best due to circumstances this weekend. As background, I am swapping over to a night shift which starts tomorrow, so I'm trying to shift myself to a nocturnal pattern over the course of this weekend, and as a result, I'm a little bit out of where I would normally be.
Yeah, it's understandable.
I haven't been sleeping well because I'm trying to sleep at the wrong time, and I've got to get that sorted by tomorrow. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Glad we were able to play. Apologies that it wasn't the best session, but we have advanced some plot a little bit. We have had an interesting and next time we will be arriving at Fairnest. So thank you for playing.
Arrive in Fairness, do a hello, goodbye, quick about.
Yeah. Hi, bye, whatever he's going to do, he's going to do it. And he's going to do it when we're not there.
Yes. And what during my downtime, if I might clean the hat that I salvaged or that I rescued, and then mend it with some of the ends of my colorful silk scarves, and basically make it patchwork and very glamorous in my opinion, but not necessarily in anyone else's.
That's fair. Okay. So,
indeed.
Thank you very much, Fish. I actually really, really enjoyed that. Looking forward to coming back and bashing this dungeon properly. And with some degree of safety, though I don't know how. Possibly involving ladders.
Yeah, well, with the crew who are now who are going to be set up to assist.
Yeah. So, thank you very much. We will post on my socials at Druttercup on Twitter as to when the next session is coming up. Or you can check it out on the Discord as posted by Moliere. And we will be back hopefully sooner rather than later, probably another couple of weeks. Coming up, we have a Halloween game at the end of the month where we're running Terrors and Tommy Guns, which should be interesting, fun and violent, not necessarily in that order. Coming up next week, Kreno, what do you have on?
So next week is, since we are now into Halloween month, I will be starting my playthrough of Dredge, the horror fishing game. And we will see how that goes, starting on Tuesday at 4 p.m. BST and continuing Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Cool. I am heavily now into Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, so I will be carrying that on for both my streams this week, so tomorrow and Thursday at 7:30 p.m. UK. And we will be finding out how much you can sneak around under the bad guys' noses while trying to protect someone else's president. I'm sure it will be fine. Everyone's trustworthy. It's all good. I'm so screwed. And then building up to Halloween later, in a couple of weeks' time, Alan Wake 2 will be coming out. So that's where my stream will go after that. So thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Fish, for running. Thank you, Molia and Chrono, for playing. And we will see you around. Have a good rest of weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Y'all come back now, you hear?